All right. We're back. You know, I'm going to tackle our last topic here before we wrap for the day. But we've got I've got Susan on the line. She is a big supporter, and I tell you, I am so impressed with Susan and the work that she's done and the effort that she has put forth to address a number of issues. She really has been a dedicated patriot for this country, and I got to tell you, I'm very impressed with her efforts and her work. Sue's a friend of ours and a friend of mine, and she has been tireless with her fight against things like Common Core and Agenda 21 and some of the things that are going on there. So I'm going to bring her on before we get too far into this topic of the impact of global warming and our president's declaration that we should prepare for the impact of it. Good morning, Sue.
Hello. Unenthusiastically.
She's unenthusiastic, as I told her. She called. Now she's got to stay on the line and chat with all of you. You wanted to talk a little bit about this Agenda 21 thing, and
I'm reading Agenda 21 to Glenn Beck's book. It's fiction to my 11-year-old grandson.
I've read that book, by the way, too.
I'm sorry?
I read that book also.
Well, and I just thought, we're not very far into it, but it's a good time with the president and his orders. Might be a good time to read that book again, because it's so what's happening to us in fiction.
Well, it's a fictional book, and it reads like a novelish, story. Yeah. And it's basically a kind of a dystopian future type book for those of you who haven't read it yet, about the way in which the global warming agenda, if you will, directs and redirects all of society, and how we become almost a totalitarian, well, not almost, how we become a totalitarian, authoritarian state, utilizing global warming and the drive for energy as the motivating factor. I actually read the book, and it was entertaining as a novel. I don't necessarily see that as really our future, but I think it's actually going to, if that was our future, it would take a long time to arrive there. But the problem that we've got right now is that, by issuing another executive order directing the government to boost preparation in states and local communities for the impact on global warming, we're going to see a lot more of what we saw with like the blue waves and stuff like that. We're going to see a lot more where states are and the EPA and the like in Missouri, where my home state and yours, where we have the Department of Natural Resources, that actually kind of looks like it's like a mini-me EPA, right?
Yes.
So, what they essentially do is where the federal government cannot interfere, then the DNR, the Department of Natural Resources, or its equivalent in every other state, they kind of take the mantle and run with that ball, right?
Yes.
So go ahead and tell me a little bit before we get too far into that, because I just posted an article up this morning about Common Core. So, and I know that's a favorite topic of yours. Tell me a little bit.
I'm a little uninformed at the moment.
Well, you're a little uninformed. You go to the school board meetings, and you know an awful lot about Common Core. But
right. School boards are pushing it.
They really are. And in Missouri, I don't know about you. I've spoken a number of times to school board members, and they have indicated that the Common Core thing is not what they're following. They're following a state-modified variant of it. So I'm not believing that. I mean, I'm hearing, constantly that they're not actually implementing Common Core. They're implementing only some of the aspects of it, and that they've got their own Missouri state plan. Is that what you've heard from your
No, they don't
school board?
Discuss it in school board meetings. They don't discuss Common Core.
Oh, they won't even talk to you about it?
Well, no, they don't talk to me. They just listen. They don't talk to me.
I got you. So they hear you out, and then they usher you out with a nice, thanks for showing up.
Kind of.
I got you. Well, listen, thank you for so much for your call. I appreciate you, dear.
Well, thank you for putting me on the air.
Keep fighting out there,
I will.
I saw a lady on, thanks so much, hon. I saw a lady post that up on our Facebook page yesterday, the fact that she has been trying to work with other people to kind of change minds and influence, work within her circle of influence. And she was frustrated about the fact that she doesn't feel like she's making an impact. And she says here, I've been posting on Facebook. I've hooked up with 2 other patriots, but most of the people and most of my friends are so brainwashed they refuse to do anything. And I responded to her that, we can't be discouraged at this point. One of the reasons we can't is that we have to look at educating the populace in a different way. When you taught your kids to tie their shoes, you had to do it multiple times. When you taught them how to brush their teeth, you had to do that over and over and over again. And the truth is, our nation is kind of like that. We're teaching them how to change bad habits or to improve their ability to deal with things. As things decline, and the perfect example here is the Obamacare robbing millions of Americans of choice and their money, right? More and more folks are coming awake every moment. And so we shouldn't lose our or become discouraged or lose our faith in the argument and in the process. We have to use logical and well-reasoned arguments and points to help turn the tide, if you will. And we should never disparage them, by the way, for being blind. Because if we look at it, if we approach it from the perspective of, I'm here to educate you about something you don't know nothing about, then we turn them off right off the bat. That's where our emotion and our compassion become our ally. Because what we should be saying is, we recognize, I understand that you think this way and that you've thought this way for a lot of reasons. Let me give you some empirical proof that might help you to at least see another side of this thing. Here's the problem. America has been trained and indoctrinated by the school systems, by government, by everyone around them. For years, they've been trained to basically poop their pants. It's okay to just use the diaper. Don't worry about it. No one has ever shown them the value of not messing themselves. We have to remember that there was a time when we were there as well. And it's up to us to show them the light, show them the idea that it's really in our best interest to get this behemoth off our back, to change the diaper. Obama has ordered the government to prepare for the impact on global warming. The problem is that this will force, and it will actually order federal agencies to work with states to build these plans, central planning, if you will, and institute that not only on the federal side, because let's be honest, the federal government doesn't really own that much land. I mean, they own tons and tons and tons of land, but they don't own population centers. They own Bureau of Land Management, these vast swaths of property out west. But the president in this order is directing infrastructure projects to be built to prepare for climate change conditions, which may not even actually happen. And God only knows what the price tag's going to be for that. The truth is, we don't really. I'm all for preparing for violent storms and things like that. I want to fix the bridges and make the roads, viable as well. But to sit there and say that, hang the cost, throw all resources into preparing for climate change that may or may not occur. We've got a lot of other real problems that need to be resolved right here, right now. The impacts of climate change, including an increase in prolonged periods of excessively high temperatures, more heavy downpours, an increase in wildfires, more severe droughts, permafrost thawing, ocean acidification, and sea level rise are already affecting communities, natural resources, ecosystems, economies, and public health across the nation. The federal government must build on recent progress and pursue new strategies to improve the nation's preparedness and resilience. Well, half of that is a lie. The other half of that is questionable. Thousands of scientists have stood out and said all along This global warming is a hoax. Now, even thousands more have come forward and said it was a hoax then, and it's a hoax now. Not to mention the fact that we're $17 trillion in debt, and there's absolutely zero idea or estimate on how much all of this additional planning is going to cost. So far, just on Superstorm Sandy alone, the economy took a $100 billion hit in 2012. That's by the administration's own statement. So, I mean, what are we supposed to do? Ring the entire nation and the entire coastline and seawall? Come on. They want to set up task force of state and local leaders to offer advice to the federal government, with several Democrat governors already having agreed to serve. And the only one Republican governor that would agree is from the territory of Guam. He wants to reduce greenhouse gas emissions by 17% by 2020. Come on. What that means is that the end of coal is here, which will completely decimate the coal industry, and it will, according to his own words, necessarily cause electric rates to skyrocket. Already we're hearing that if you are heating your home in natural gas, you can expect a 13% increase this winter alone. But there's no inflation out there, they tell us. These regulations that are going to destroy coal-burning power plants, I mean, listen, I want clean air like everybody else. But, you remember the old adage that your parents told you when you had your first job and you were saying, I want to quit, and they said, well, you never quit one job until you got another. Well, you don't throw out one source of energy unless you've got another source ready and willing and available to replace it that's of equal or greater capacity for better cost. But we know that windmills and solar and all of the rest of that, at least on a national scale, is ineffective. We can't replace coal because we don't have an alternative solution to it. We could if the government would stop, monkeying around and playing games, if they would allow drilling here domestically to tap into our own oil reserves and stop buying OPEC oil, if the nation would allow natural gas drilling to be done and put in place the ability and the wherewithal for the free market to allow natural gas to be used for all kinds of things that right now it's not being used for, including vehicles, by the way. Hey. But, this administration is, desperate to decimate the United States and gut it from the inside out. And that's essentially what this is all about. He is trying and his darndest to destroy the United States from the inside out. The truth is, he's setting us up for complete and utter devastation. Despite all the evidence to the contrary, that global warming is really doesn't even exist. And by the way, there's a lot of it lately, including the Arctic ice cap, which has increased by 60%. And the studies that show for the last 15 years that there hasn't been a change in the global temperature. Even the UN is backing off of a lot of this nonsense. And all of the scandals surrounding the so-called scientists who determined and figured out that global warming was here, and the scandals associated with the fact that, and exposed because they all knew that this was really a political machine in play. Despite the damage that this is going to cause to our economy, nobody denies that, by the way. The traitor-in-chief is abusing his authority in true dictatorial fashion. Again. The end goal of all of this is the utter destruction and the desolation of this nation. Where are the American patriots? Where are the people who are willing to put it all on the line to say, I've had enough? Where are the people who truly believe in the Constitution, who instead of pumping their money into, these PACs run by the likes of Karl Rove and that ilk, will stand up and put their money together with a pool of patriotic American citizens who don't have some kind of a political axe to grind, just want the country restored? How about funding that? I mean, $6 billion was spent on the 2012 election. $6 billion. That's insane. Where are some great Americans who have significant levels of wealth and are willing to back the play of the patriots in this nation? Those who believe that the Constitution needs to be restored to its place of honor and leadership in the nation. Instead of spending your money, pumping it into the pockets of these people who obviously don't have our nation's best interest at heart. Every day, there are new examinations that are coming out, new exposures. Yesterday, I posted it up on Facebook, the Navy SEALs were ordered to remove the "Don't Tread on Me" Gadsden flag on their uniforms. Really? I mean, what is this, revisionist history? And since when is the free speech of a guy who's willing to put his life on the line and go into the most dangerous situations possible, since when is his right to be able to say that "Don't tread on me" is a symbol that he observes and respects and honors? Since when do they have the right to demand that he remove that from his uniform? This is a time-honored tradition with these guys. This isn't something that they just started doing. See, it's all about the concept of everything upside down. Throw everything into confusion. Keep everyone confused. Keep everybody disoriented. Create chaos. Don't let them organize. Keep them divided. See a way clear. Don't let them see any methodology. Don't let them create allies amongst themselves, because we've already created all these factions and we've sown all this dissent. We don't want to let them get past that and agree to lock elbows and stand united against us. We got to demoralize them any way possible. We got to strip them of their wealth. We got to strip them of their nerve and strip them of their resources. And they're doing it everywhere. The Navy Jack, "Don't Tread on Me" flag, one that has earned a revered place in America's naval history and a beloved place in sailors' hearts through its use of over 2 centuries. This symbol of America's naval ferocity has spanned our country's entire existence, flying from the masts of the Continental Navy during the War of Independence to today's War on Terror. In fact, an amendment to the Navy Code called SECNAV Instruction clearly states that on May 31st, 2002, all ships are to fly the flag throughout the duration of the War on Terror. So the SEAL commanders why would ranking SEAL commanders ban the historical symbol? The phrase "Don't tread on me," which is, has been part of the Gadsden flag too. And this has been on their uniforms and in everything that they do. I'll tell you what. We are just slowly but surely seeing the dissolution of everything that our nation stands for. And it's reprehensible. It's inexcusable, and Americans need to stand. You've been listening to America's Voice Now. You can find us on the web at AmericasVoiceNow.org. You can find us on Facebook.com/America's Voice Now, and you can find us on YouTube.com/America's Voice Now. You can download podcasts of the show off of our website and off of Facebook, and share them with your friends. America, arise. It is time. Arise and be counted. Stand firm. Be strong in your own core convictions. More importantly, speak. Speak out loud and clear, even when your voice shakes. See you first thing tomorrow.